So in zipBoard, we are trying to bring three things together, which we've seen is often in disconnected systems: document management, uh, document reviews and markups, and all the issue tracking and all the comments and information related to those documents in one place. So you're not struggling to switch between systems, which Kala just mentioned, all of those. So I'm going to show you this is where your dashboard is, where all your projects live. So you essentially create projects, invite your stakeholders, and you do not get charged for each stakeholder that you invite. And they all have same visibility. There's one set of collaborators who have same visibility on those projects. So here I have a project, which is a drawing project for a school, which is a fictional project here. But what you see here is that I have a set of people that are able to see everything that I have put together here. What we enable is a space for you to upload your documents and be able to see them in different views. So you can switch from a table to a Kanban view. You can bring your documents by uploading them, just adding a PDF document directly, or you could sync up with, let's say, SharePoint or your own server, so you do not create multiple copies of documents, and you just have one single source. And also, if you, for security reasons, you do not want to move the documents to our server, you actually leave them on your servers, but link them to our product. So there are many options available. Another thing that we do is that we feel like documents have a life cycle in architectural projects. They may, and this is a fictional set that I have created again, they may be going from pre-design to design development. They may be going through several stages. Maybe if you're talking about submittals, they may be going from construction documentation to actually GC approving them or architects approving them. They have a life cycle. So we want you to define those life cycles and have your own definitions for every project. So that is what you can do here, that you can rename these and say that this is my design ideation stage document. So you can actually categorize and be able to see where they are in your life cycle. Another thing that you can do is, let's say you've uploaded this document, you can decide who you want. You can set up deadlines for people, and you can decide who you want to review this document. So you can assign it to people. They will get an email notification. They will get a notification in app. They will be set up. You can set up a deadline. Like here, I have a deadline. Oh, I'm already in. Yeah. So I'm setting a deadline for 30th May. And, I also want to be able to easily search these documents, so I can set up my tags. So if I know that this is related to a particular feature, or this is for electrical, for MEP, so I can really categorize my documents and be able to search them easily. So this way, you're not, as an architect, chasing people to remind them this is the deadline. You're not asking people to give you, what happened to that. This is the work that the application does for you. They automatically send reminders, and obviously make it easy for you to find all the documents in one place. Moving on, the next thing that we've often seen is that often your document, where your documents are housed, your management system is disconnected to your review system, which means you often have to download that file from your management system, upload to your review system. And by that time, maybe the third person that is supposed to review it, they already have the first version, not the second version, and so on. So it creates a bit of a version confusion, not a bit, quite a bit of a version confusion, and you're dealing with, oh, I don't have the updated version, I don't know what happened to it. So you're creating a dashboard here from where you can jump from document to a quick review, rather than having to download, upload it to a system, invite people to a session, and so on. Everybody who's part of this project, who was invited to this project, is able to see this document in a browser without installing anything, without having to pay a license for anything either. So which makes it very easy, which makes it easy for people to not switch systems, not use, oh, I have this review tool, I'm going to use this. Everything is right here. So I'm going to walk you through some of the review features that we have. So obviously you can zoom in, zoom out, be able to see something more clearly if you want to. And as you see, it's refreshing in real time, so it doesn't take too long to load, right? And once you're going through something, I may not be an architectural expert here, but I'll just pick something and say, okay, I want to comment on this particular node because I feel like this needs attention, and maybe even tag people and say, can you take a look at it? So this makes it easy in two different ways. A, I'm doing it at my own pace, and I'm not inviting people in a real-time session, have 10 people at the same time logged in. You can do it, you can take your time, review the documents, add a note, send a notification to Harry. He will be able to open this document and say, okay, I'm gonna go back and jump on it and take a look at it, right? So you're not forcing people to in long review meetings, which is another thing that I often hear, that there are 1 to 2 hours of review meetings, which you don't want to do. Another thing is there is a running list of commentary right here. So I can jump from one note to another easily rather than having to again, not know what is happening and who is commenting where. So I can really jump, that opened in a new window, but I can really jump from one to another. I can see if somebody has replied to it. I can have more people reply to it as well, right? So this just makes the whole experience kind of like a Google Doc for your documents, but with an enhanced annotation, so you are really able to annotate and mark up on things. There are a few more markup tools that I'm going to show. You can use a pencil, choose a thickness. You can actually even switch to like a highlight mode, like a pencil, which lets you mark up using oh, that's a highlighter. But you can switch to a pencil mode, which lets you mark up using a pencil and still add a comment. Let's say you don't want to add a comment, you just want the pencil to be written, you can turn off the comments as well. So that makes it easy that if you're using a device to do this, you can quickly just start adding notes quickly, right? Few more things like highlighter, which is specifically for text. So if you want to highlight any text in the document, you can highlight that and then add a note or not. Again, I've disabled my comments here. A few more things like arrow to show something, or a text. Let's say you want to add text. This was something that came up from our some of our architects, that they like to add text notes, which can show up easily. That this. And again, I'm not the best person to know what kind of comment it should be, but we can actually add text notes rather than adding, a comment box. So that becomes embedded into this tool, into the sheet as well. Other thing, of course, you can erase anything that you like depending on the permissions that you have. And other thing is adding stamp and signature. So this is often very useful, especially for teams which are doing submittals and they have to review and then add their stamps. So they can really go in, add a stamp, and this is a custom stamp that has been brought in, which the org puts in. So you're not using any stamp that you like, and then you can decide to check mark things and say, okay, this is what it is. This looks good, and sign it off as well. So you can add your signatures, your stamp, and your check marks. So you all have it here, and this can be finally printed, so that this can finally be printed so that you can actually save this for your records, or if you want to send it to somebody else, you can download this into a PDF as well. So you have all of the comments that were added, and they will all be they can all, with the stamp document, you can send it to somebody if you do not, or save it for your own archive. Moving on to the back to the project. There are few more things that you can do in terms of even sharing with stakeholders or having visibility on stakeholders. So there are often times you're working with outside consultants, you don't want them to see all these documents, but you want one-off feedback from them, one-off review from them. What you can do is you can create a shareable link for them, which makes them not have to log in to the whole system, just see the document directly. And you can decide, do you want them to have a password or not for security reasons? You want them to see others' reviews or not? And you want them to comment or maybe just see others' reviews and not be able to add their own comments. So you can decide based on your stakeholder how you want to create a sharing, but that makes it much more flexible for you to get collaborate with external stakeholders, like just send them this one-off link, use directly, maybe send an email here, add an email here, and well, I think you're already on this project, but I'm going to add you here. And you can really send an invite to them and they will be able to see this link. They will be able to jump off on this review. They will directly come to this view. They will start adding their notes. So it's as simple as just opening this document in a browser, not having to download, install anything, not having to pay a license, not having to manage anything externally. You can also control till when do they have access. So let's say you do not want them to have access after May 30th, you can do that as well. So it makes it easy for you to control your documents and their access to different stakeholders. And of course, making it easy for them to review as well, rather than using email or some other medium to communicate. They can all communicate here. One more thing, the last part is the fact that, once in most systems, these comments actually live in the document. So you can only see these comments when you actually open the documents, and it becomes quite cumbersome to track them. What we bring is a neat ability to be able to see these comments in a table or a Kanban view, depending on where you are. And it lets you do multiple things. It gives you an archive for all the commentary that happened on this project, right? Not just today, through several years, even after you've closed your project. Let's say you need to see what decision was taken and why was it taken. You can come back to it, and it's easy to see. You know exactly where the comment was added. You can jump to it as well, but essentially you get all of it in one place. You can add more context to it, have more conversations going on. You can add, attachments and things like that as well to it. You can assign it to people if you feel like a certain person needs to answer for this particular comment. You can do that as well. So as a project manager, you may not have to necessarily even jump into the document. You can just do all of that from here, which makes it easy to track things, makes it easy to also filter things. So for example, I want to see all the commentaries which have been approved by GC. There's none here, but let's say there's something that's returned rejected. So then I know exactly which ones were rejected. I need to address these, and I can do that easily and quickly from here. So that the whole process makes it easy to find information for every stakeholder who's part of the project. That's it for the portions and the areas where I'm talking about document management. We've talked about document management, which happens here in this section. We've talked about reviews, which happens in the browser itself, and then we've talked about tracking information and finding all the issues and tracking it and actually being able to find what is happening where. Another element, and the last one, which I will say, is the reporting, where you can actually see how your projects are doing. So you can actually cumulatively see, okay, I want to see in the last quarter, how many issues were created, how many did we actually, who created them, how many actually got closed, and so on. So this gives you an evaluation of, okay, you know what, we need to, and there is more that you can do. We can customize these reports as well. But what happens is that you have a good sense of where your projects are, what they're doing, what's happening, and you're not like stuck by you're not like sensing things. You have data to know how your projects are doing, and you can predict them better.